How hard working in a restaurant changed my life. How working in a restaurant changed my life. Lauren Sessions.
I want you all to think of the first thing that comes to your mind when you think life-changing. Most people probably think of a big journey to self-actualization or a fun trip they went on that changed their life forever. But I think of something a little different when I think of life-changing. I think of my first job. So I'm going to rewind a little bit. I grew up in a cookie-cutter family in the suburbs. And for a big portion of my life, I lived in this suburban bubble. And I thought that everybody in the world lived exactly the same way I did. And take me in this little bubble, and I finally decided that it's time to get a job. I needed some money to go to the mall or to spend on gas money. And I applied to my local Mellow Mushroom, not thinking much of it, but I finally get the call, and they tell me I got the job, and I was terrified. I am not the most outgoing person in the world. The thought of working with a bunch of people that were older than me that I didn't know terrified me. But I conjured up the courage, I walked into work, and it was the best thing I've ever done in my life. And all of the people I've met through the job have inspired me so much, and that is what I'm going to talk to you about today. So as I started working and getting more comfortable with everyone I was working with, I started to learn why they were working, and I realized very quickly that they were not working for the same reasons I was. A lot of them were working to put themselves through college, to pay their bills, to feed their families, all very different things from what I was doing. This is my bubble, popped, gone. I finally realized that nobody was living the same way I was living, and that there were so many other different lifestyles out there, different ways of living that I wasn't used to. And as I continue on learning more things about the people I was working with, there was one person in particular that really changed my viewpoint on the world entirely. And his name was Graham. And Graham lived a very, very different lifestyle than me. He was in and out of sober living homes and living on other people's couches when he was out of the sober living homes. He had a very difficult time in his life because he didn't really have a support system. But regardless of all of this, every time he came into work, he came in with a smile on his face. And he was such a bright soul, and he was one of those people, if you were ever upset, you couldn't stay upset for more than 5 minutes around him because he just lightened up the room and made you feel like whatever you had going on just didn't matter anymore. And he taught me that this was the way to treat other people. Regardless of what is going on in your life, you can be a light to other people, and you can inspire them to be better people as well. And that is exactly what Graham did to me. No matter what I was going through in my life, he made me happy. He made me excited to work. Excited to be there with him. About 6 months into my knowing Graham, he passed away from a drug overdose. And my bubble was popped, but now it's completely torn apart, demolished. The bubble is gone, and I was torn apart as well. He was someone that was so very important to me, and he was also my first experience with grief. And so he continued to teach me through this experience as well about how to grieve and how to be a light to other people while grieving, and that grieving does not have to be a straight path, and there's different paths you can take and different lights that come up on your path of grief. And he continued to teach me on that route as well. And I could go on and on for hours and hours about every single person that I've worked with and how they've changed me as a person and how they've changed the way I view the world, but that would take a little longer than we have today. But what I really wanted to inspire you to do is to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and to take those risks that will allow you to meet new people, because every single person you come into contact with in your life has something to teach you. And if you don't take those risks and get uncomfortable, you're not going to be able to meet those people. And once you meet those people, your lives can be forever changed. Thank you.